come laugh with me. Put a smile on your face if you're feeling happy. What? Laughy, come laugh with me. Put a smile on your face if you're feeling happy. Happy people, smiling people, lovely people, nice, wonderful people. Want them know beautiful kind of people. Send a neighbor, she love the laughing people. Laughing, come laugh with me. Put a smile on your face if you're feeling happy. What? Laughy, come laugh with me. Put a smile on your face if you're feeling happy. Laughy, come laugh with me. Put a smile on your face when you're feeling happy. Laughy, come laugh with me.
That from our man. He's back.
Before you played that,
Yeah.
I was in a bit of my own despair.
Yeah.
I was feeling down on myself.
Yeah.
But there's something magical about laughter
Yeah.
and happiness.
Specifically brushy. A brushy happy is a whole new level of happy.
And it's contagious.
Yeah. I mean, it's contagious like HIV is contagious.
Yeah. Or COVID-19.
That's true.
Laughter is contagious as COVID-19. Yeah.
You may not get any symptoms, and then you may die.
Then you may die from it.
Yeah, so it was weird because so we had featured Brushy One String episodes back, and it was ended up being kind of a fan favorite by folks. A lot of, that's hilarious, who is this guy? And we felt it necessary to bring him back with what I would consider probably an even better song than Corn in the whatever it is.
Yeah.
Corn in the Corn Maze.
Chicken in the corn.
Chicken in the corn.
They like
So we found out,
chicken.
which by the way, I'm going to order them next week.
Yeah.
So there's Brushy One String, Chicken in the Corn shirts. So
We're
I'm going to
getting
order
some.
a few to where Chris and I will have...
And we encourage you to also support this amazing artist.
Yeah.
He has actually toured the United States.
He has. He got really popular back in like 2007, 2008. Played a bunch of big festivals in the U.S.
Then he got a resurgence in 2017.
Yeah, and has a new album that's literally like being like crowdfunded right now.
Yeah.
In 2019, he was featured on a very popular podcast, and folks wanted to get behind him, so he's now producing I think what would be his third album.
Yeah. Yeah, third one.
So he'll have a 2019 released album.
And check out
more brushy goodness.
Check out amazing songs like War and Crime.
War and
Laugh
Crime.
With Me, which you just heard a little bit about.
Yep.
Chicken in the Corn, classic.
Classic.
Just some great tracks. Some real tracks about
some real hitters
war, poverty, hatred.
Yeah.
But in the wake of all of those negative things, love, laughter, happiness, family.
Yeah, forget this.
He says mama a lot.
He does say mama a lot, and forget the sadistic laughter that he has in that song, which could be a very big turnoff for most people. That is a genuine, heartfelt laughter.
Yes, a very forced, heartfelt laughter.
100%.
Yeah.
But we like him nonetheless.
Just for everybody that's tuning into our show this week is sponsored by the bourbon by Rebel Yell. With a rebel yell, he'll cry more, more, more.
Specifically, this is the Rebel Yell 100, which is the 100 proof. And for a cool $19.99, you can get yourself really fucked up on this stuff. It's actually surprisingly smooth. It is my favorite go-to bourbon. You know what's weird is a lot of people have been suggesting that we interlace more bourbon into the cigar stuff, which I'll do like pairing posts and things like that. But I don't really articulate much beyond what I'm enjoying.
Yeah.
I don't go into like flavor notes and all that stuff simply because I don't know enough about bourbon. I know what I like and what I don't like. Cigars are different.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to, and obviously I have a I would say I'd have as much joy for bourbon at this point
Yeah.
in time that I do for cigars, and those two together is my absolute favorite combination. So
Yeah.
I drink bourbon pretty much nightly, and I smoke cigars pretty much daily. So.
Yeah, when I sit down for a quality night to enjoy a cigar with close company and friends, maybe even by myself, I grab the first thing that pops into my view, a Rebel Yell.
Yeah.
With Rebel Yell, you'll cry more, more, more.
You were exposed to, this is going to sound bad, sound sexual. You were exposed to the rabbit hole yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
Specifically the PX Sherry Cask rabbit hole, which,
Yeah.
I mean, people, hey, it's all subjective, right? No, not dissimilar from cigars, but
Yeah.
the rabbit hole PX Sherry Cask bourbon is my favorite bourbon that I've had and enjoyed thus far. So
It's good, man.
It is so insanely good. And Chris paired it last night with the Diesel PX Sherry Cask cigar, which Diesels, not great cigars. But so I don't want to say that it's a technical infusion in the sense of what we usually understand infusions to be. It's actually just aged in one of the PX Sherry Cask barrels. So it's a little bit different than a traditional infusion, but you can definitely taste it.
You know, I'm thinking about pairings here. What do you think would go with a good rabbit hole? Maybe a tortoise pole?
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Stick the tortoise pole in the rabbit hole.
And the rabbit hole, yeah. Those two things do go
go well together.
They race each other all the time.
They should have renamed that Diesel cigar to that.
Yeah.
The tortoise pole.
The tortoise pole. That's pretty good.
Because it's slow burning. It's a slow burning passion.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Gosh, you know, it's weird because I don't want to say we're definitely not the end of anything, you know, all this COVID-19 stuff, but I can sense people getting antsy finally.
Yeah.
You know, the whole idea of being quarantined for this particular period of time is just against like the laws of nature of human beings, like the social aspect that inherently lives within us.
Yeah.
So, you know, being from the state of Ohio, things are starting to open up. Our local cigar lounge is open currently, but with and actually I found out today from our good buddy Tyler that they're not reaching their limit. So the idea of you and I being able to get back in there and doing it in a safe manner sounds like it's a probability. So I will look to schedule some time to go in there next week and do so safely and cautiously. But in addition to that, there's a lot of other things within the state of Ohio that will be opening up. And really, the majority of the state will be opened up under no precautionary conditions other than the ones set by like each individual place of establishment here in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that based upon the knowledge and statistics of those who are much smarter than us are saying, hey, we can really start kickstarting the economy again and getting some things open, but doing so again in a cautious manner. I think that's like the best approach, because what you don't want is the adverse and a spike happening again to where it's going to shut down things for a much longer period of time. So my only thing to everybody else who's listening to this, no matter what state you're in, if you're in the state of Ohio, please exercise safety and caution when going out into the public. Just be smart about what you're doing so we don't have to do this again.
There's just a few activities that for the next 12 months is highly, highly risky.
Right.
For any of you
orgies, one of them.
Date and swinger family groups.
Yep. Swing.
Swinging is not a smart idea.
I would say swing low, don't swing high right now.
Yeah.
Swing very low.
Yeah.
Swing in good company.
Yeah.
Exercise safety. I'd have to imagine strip clubs are probably out of it.
Strip clubs are a little bit because you're grinding a bit.
I feel like lap dances
and
are
I feel like you can
prohibitive.
get COVID-19 from snail trails.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
You know?
Or for just a quick ass
or
puff.
a queef.
Yeah, just a quick queef, right, a shot right to your fucking nostrils, right in your eye holes.
She just quaffed my face with her vagina.
Just a quick,
and then you're gonna be like, oh no,
I'm symptomatic. Oh god. Yeah. So yeah, there's certainly going to be places. Well, there's certain places going to operate under their own caution and not open up at all until really they feel like there's a high level element of safety. But the local donut shop, Bill's Donuts, finally opened up, and they're doing carryouts now. And that line was horrendously long the first day that they opened up. A buddy of mine sent me a video of it, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
On my way here, there was a line out the door.
Was it still crowded? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have not made my way into it. I drove past it earlier today, but it was at like 11:30, and there was people outside, but I could tell
it's not a long
it
line.
was the 6 foot distance thing that really made it seem longer than what it was, but it was probably 5 minutes, no more than that to get yourself a delicious dog nut.
That's true.
But yeah, it's been kind of crazy. I think the thing too that is kind of driven me nuts, and I was actually volleying this back and forth with someone I used to work with, on Instagram. She was posting some stuff about just the stupidity of people and the disregard to other people's safety and so on, and the fact that like people are getting squirrely right now and they want to get out and they want to get back to their normal lives. And we were just volleying some stuff back and forth, and really it got me thinking about the polarization that this pandemic has caused. And when I was thinking about it the other day, and the fact that this is a non-discriminatory virus. Unless you're an older person, then it's pretty discriminatory. But I mean, in terms of like, if you have certain political beliefs and the fact that you're
it's all irrelevant.
Yeah, you're pro-capitalism and let's make sure the economy is holding strong. Or if you, I would say, operate on the side of humanity and say, hey, safety first before we dare open up any establishments. I think anywhere you always have to exercise and operate under the idea that there's always gray area and there's a middle ground.
Sure.
So it's weird to me that there's political turmoil caused by something that is very non-discriminatory.
Yeah.
I think that's strange. And I was thinking about the other day, and I was like, the fact that there's anybody on the extreme left or the extreme right, or whatever you call yourself, liberal, conservative, doesn't matter, that still makes this a political piece of subject. And I can see how you can do it, and I can see how you spin it. And of course, if you listen to the news, that's everything that they pretty much broadcast out, right?
Yeah.
But what is sad to me is that still, through all of this, there's so much spit hatred on both sides of it. I think that's just crazy. Like, the more I watch news and the more I see people...
Hopefully they're not spitting too close.
Yeah, don't be spitting in each other's mouths.
Yeah.
Part of me just going to be like, hey, listen... Get along, right? Get yourself a 6 foot double-sided dildo and just fuck each other with it.
Yeah.
And gain some commonality in this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's just weird to me that like the reaction of people on like Facebook and social media really mimics that of the last election with Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. It's that kind of hatred that I see being spewed back and forth. And I was like, this is a fucking virus. Like this is something, I mean, we take election seriously. This is something that affects the world, should be taken far more serious. And then I think people really need to operate on the understanding that's like, we're all human beings. It doesn't matter which side you agree with or you don't agree with. The fucking hatred, that shit's got to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it impacts each individual separately. And it's like, you get people that are on the humanitarian side of it that say, well, we got to think about people first, and you think about the safety aspects of it. But I think sometimes, and I'm going to speak to both sides of this, sometimes you don't realize that the people that are hurting economically on the other side of it that have lost their jobs can't afford to feed their families, can't afford to pay mortgage. So you have to have some element of understanding that you have people on the other side of it who are experiencing their own turmoil. It may not be, I've caught a case of coronavirus. It may be, I don't know how to feed myself and my family any longer because I don't have a job to support myself and my family. And then you have the other people side, and then you have the economy folks. We got to get the economy boosted again. And they're sitting there saying, well, you know what? We got to roll the dice on people contracting the virus. All the while you have someone on the other end that has a friend or a family member or grandparent that has died of it. And there's a lack of sensitivity to that too. It's like, dude, we're all fucking humans.
Yep.
And everybody's dealing with shit right now.
Yep.
We need to learn to deal with it together and not separate.
Yeah.
That's my speech for you.
I think that was a great speech.
It felt good.
I saw you looking at the notes on your palm of your hand, though.
Yeah.
You got to watch that if you're going to be in the camera.
Well, the problem is I started smearing a little bit because it's hot in here, so sweating.
Yeah.
So there may be a few words that I may have mispronounced.
I think we got a little worked up with Brushy One String.
Yeah, dude. He'll get your fucking heart pumping.
Yeah. Yeah. This whole thing is, it is what it is.
And it's unfortunate, but here's the reality. We're going to get past it. We're getting past it. Some of the things that have been put into place are helping us get past this pandemic, get past this dire situation that not only our country, it's so funny how people operate in a silo and saying like our country and this and the economy. And it's like, dude, this is a world issue. This is the only time in our lifetime, and may be the only time in our lifetime where we're dealing with a world crisis on this scale.
Have we thought about that? Think about this for a second.
Yeah.
What if COVID-19 isn't the virus? What if the virus is ourselves?
Like some Matrix shit?
Like, we're not supposed to be here.
It's possible.
And
I mean, Mother Nature has done her best to ravage us right now.
We're the virus to this world. And, like, the world is, like, the judge, you know?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I kind of see where you're going with it, but you're not. You're articulating like a fucking 3-year-old.
Yeah.
You're saying that we're the cause and the issue,
we're the issue.
and the world's making a correction.
Yeah. And the world's the good guy.
Yeah.
And we're the antagonist,
Yeah. Well, we are.
you know?
Yeah, we definitely are. As human beings, as like this, as people, and I say people because I'm saying it plurally.
Yeah.
We suck.
Yeah.
Society is terrible. Human beings are awful creatures.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're the worst.
Let's end this.
Start with this show. Volunteer suicide just for the greater humanity.
If you think you're a burden on this earth, you're right.
It's time to go.
It's time to fucking end it.
Time to take out the trash in your own trash.
You don't recycle? Get the fuck out of here. You're
It's weird. Yeah, I mean, sometimes people think that it's nature's answer to the problems that we've put forward.
I think we've gotten too big for our britches.
We've definitely gotten as humanity, we've gotten way too big.
Have
for
you
our
seen
britches.
India and China? Whoa.
Oh yeah, just population alone.
Whoa.
Talk about too big for your britches.
Too big.
Yeah, it's insane.
All the while, you've got all of Africa barely sparsely populated.
That's true.
Spread out a little.
Yeah, you know who's not getting COVID-19?
Africans.
The pygmies.
The pygmies.
The
That's
pygmies
true.
aren't getting COVID-19.
Nope, they are sheltered because they live off the land. They don't
That's
take
true.
more than they need.
Now, do they have their own written language? No.
No, but
Do they communicate with a series of clicks and moans? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they die of other horrific diseases and snake bites and frog poison? Yeah.
And when they kill an animal, it's not for fun or pleasure. It's to be consumed to survive.
Yeah.
Dick
They
ball-
eat themselves to survive.
Dick, balls, and anus. Everything. Anything in an animal.
It's
they
all
eat it.
consumable.
The bones they use as weapons.
They'll grind the teeth down.
Yeah. They use
it as healing
they
powder.
use bones to make fishing hooks so that they can catch fish.
It's true. They do this. They do all these things. But guess what? They're not getting.
They're not getting
getting
COVID-19.
Nope. Sure shit aren't.
No.
Now, is there only a population of 34 left in the Amazon? Yeah.
And they're mostly dying of staph when they do get a simple cut,
That's true.
you know, unless they got a shaman
Yeah. One of the shaman's dead.
or Charmin.
They definitely need some
They
Charmin.
definitely need some Charmin. I don't think they wipe their asses.
I need Charmin, for Christ's sake. I'm out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not Charmin Strong, it ain't going through this forest of a
That's what
asshole
Red
I
Cross
have.
should have done. Red Cross should have sent some Charmin to the shaman of these Aborigine tribes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a crazy thing, man. The world's a crazy thing. I do think there's an element of correctness in here.
I think so,
for sure,
too.
because there's all these other things that are happening too, and it's like, is it coincidental? No, I think it's
No.
like a hard cleansing.
I think it's meant to be, just like bubonic plague was caused by our filth.
Oh yeah, just
You know what I'm
gross
saying?
stuff. Yeah, gross stuff.
That was caused by our filth.
Yeah,
We
people
paid the
people
price.
throwing like feces and trash on the roads
Yeah.
and stuff.
We
and-
paid the price.
Yeah, with death and
With
infection.
death. Bubonic plague, the Black Death.
Yeah, there's a lot of that too, right? Historically, there's a lot of these things that kind of
Yeah.
are palate cleansers for the earth.
Yeah, we get
old Mother Earth.
We get all nasty on her,
Yeah,
and she like retaliates.
yeah, we're grimy.
Yeah,
I mean, we are fucking
We're
grimy.
filthy fucking animals.
We are, and we just cannot learn a lesson.
No.
Cannot learn a lesson.
My 7-year-old will not wipe the toilet seat when he pisses all over it.
Can't learn a lesson.
Can't fucking learn a lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, it's society. We talk about it's like, the positive reactions in the ecosystem. We were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
The positive reactions in the ecosystem in terms of just like the economy and the world being shut off for a period of time and all this sea life and all these creatures, right, that are thriving. And we won't learn a lesson. We'll flip the factories right back on. We'll pollute just like we did before, and we'll be right back out ruining this world.
Yep.
So cheers to that. It's got real depressing. Got a little dark.
Sad thought.
Yeah.
Put on Laugh with me. I think I need to pick me up.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, it's been it's weird. It's on the flip side of it, I am ready to get out and expose myself, not in a sexual way, but expose myself to the world again.
Yeah.
Sure. I miss the social aspects. I miss being around my friends, and I miss my time with other people. It's just we are social creatures.
I'm ready for that moment where I walk up to a stranger and I go, "Hi, how are you? My name's Chris. Can I breathe on you?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long while for that.
I think it is too.
Yeah, it's going to be a long while. I think people are going to have like 6-foot poles with them at all times and just make sure that you're keeping safe.
Breathe
distance.
in my CO2.
Like I may take my hockey stick with me and just like, and just poke people and then go, "You're too close," and just poke right in the fucking dick, just right on the head of the dick. Boop.
Oof.
You got to back up.
I'm waiting for the world ender where plants get viruses, and then it's transmitted into the oxygen that we breathe.
Well, we'd be crazy to think that this is going to be the most severe thing that we ever run into and encounter.
For sure.
I mean, in our lifetime, maybe, but there's going to be something beyond our lifetime that's going to wipe out the face of the earth, and in a form of a virus, probably. Just literally going to wipe out the entire earth.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a hard reset.
Yeah.
I think this is Mother Nature's warning, like, get your shit together, bro.
Yeah.
And the next one may not be a warning shot. It may just be the real deal.
Yeah.
And everybody going down.
Stop jacking off and fucking finish a fucking vaccine already, is what she's saying.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, what's going on with that, by the way?
I don't know.
It's like now that we've curbed this thing a little bit, they're like relaxed on the whole
let's slow
vaccine
down on this
thing. Yeah.
This $2 billion budget we want to put towards this, let's just...
Problem is, and
let's
this is
put
the
that towards
conspiracy
something else.
theorist coming out in me, as soon as you correct something and cure something, you no longer need the prescription medicines to help treat it.
Right.
So there's that aspect of it too. That's the conspiracy theorist in me. But pharmaceutical companies, they certainly like their money, and hospitals like funding, and they get funding for coronavirus patients. Yeah, and prescribing the whole thing. Yeah. So anyway, we do have a review today.
We do.
Right? We do.
We do.
We've got it. So I would just say this real quick. Recent last week, we had Matt Booth on from Room 101. That was a great episode. And I'm saying that I'm saying it subjectively, but also others have confirmed that that was just an outstanding episode. It was just great dialogue. It flowed really well. One of probably my favorite interviews that we've done. And I always say that about most of them, but this one was really just top notch.
Just like when you
really
think
insightful.
It can't get better, it kind of does.
Yeah, they just kind of get better. And this week we'll have a review. Next week we have an interview. And the week after we have an interview. And I think we'll even have another one after that. And actually may even have another one. There may be 4 I've got to actually figure out a way to interlace other stuff, but we've got a backlog of stuff that we've got to perform on.
We know you're getting tired of me and Cory just talking to each other.
Yeah, for sure.
We see it. We see it in the comments.
Yeah.
In your photos. Like, I can tell by your photos.
Yeah.
Like, you're a little upset, but we're going to fix it.
Yeah. We're going to give you some real premiere content.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break and let's get into the cigar review.
Sounds great,
Shall
Cory.
we?
Sounds great.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with you guys in just a minute. Hang tight. The noise that cork just made when you pulled it out was yowzers. We've got a review. We're back. Sorry. I meant to say we're back. I feel like it goes without saying, but we are technically back.
Yeah.
And we do have a review today. And you know what? I was really thinking about this a couple weeks ago. You know, so it's like sometimes we'll smatter in like random reviews, and we're much more intentional about what we bring forward on the
Usually,
podcast now
yeah.
because we interlace a lot of different stuff now. I mean, most people who listen to the podcast notice that we're doing some other creative things in terms of like show content. We've got the interviews. So really, the idea of the reviews, when they do occur, is probably likely going to be more of a special type cigar. It's going to be something outside of like Boutique Week.
Yes.
It's really going to be something that maybe has some fanfare around it, maybe a part of a larger, more well-known organization, because people are kind of craving our thoughts on some of the things that I say are more popular in the industry.
Yeah, just take this and toss it your way.
I'm going to toss it your way.
Just want to remind you.
Yeah.
Hey, little sister.
Mm-hmm.
What have you done? I'll tell you what I've done.
Yeah.
I've bought me some Rebel Yell 100 bourbon.
Yep. It's good stuff.
Sponsor. But not a sponsor, but want to be a sponsor.
Thanks, Billy.
You're welcome.
Yeah, would love. Dude,
You
Rebel Yell as a sponsor would be the dopest shit ever. Because I am so... Like, if they just understood how much I love this bourbon, how many bottles do I have? I mean, this is
like
probably
this
is like my 6th bottle, and I've finished
There's
quite
one
a
at
few
the
of them.
lounge.
I have 2 at the lounge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my love for it is probably a bit unhealthy. But yeah, we do have a review today. I'm excited to review this cigar.
Coming at us from Illinois, funny enough.
What?
Yeah.
The cigar is?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right out of a small town called Aurora.
Yeah. That's good. I was wondering where you're going with that. Yeah, so Chris just spoiled it. We're breaking down the La Aurora 115th anniversary cigar. Now, I will say this. There was already a 115th anniversary cigar that La Aurora actually came out with before this regular release cigar. I actually have the other one, which was a special release cigar, and they actually announced this release of the 115th anniversary cigar back at IPCPR last year in 2019.
Yeah.
I thought personally that 115th anniversary is real obscure and kind of weird. Like, who celebrates the 115th anniversary? Then I started thinking about it. It's kind of like on the Today Show where they always announce people's age if they were over 100 years old.
Sure,
It's like everything
Every
after
year
100
is celebrated.
Is a celebratory year, right?
For sure.
So then I was thinking about it. I was going to really harp on the idea that it was 115. I was just like, who the fuck does that? But let's celebrate the later years in terms of this cigar manufacturer's history.
Yeah.
So this is the La Aurora 115th anniversary cigar. And before we get into the components of the cigar, Chris, can you let everybody know how we break these down?
Sure. Let me take a sip of this delicious Rebel Yell, today's sponsor.
That noise
Yummy.
was atrocious. I'm cutting it out of the fucking...
Yummy.
Ugh.
What a great drink. Each cigar review starts with a total of 60 possible points and is broken down into 3 main categories. Do you know what they are, Cory?
Yep.
What are they?
Construction,
Yeah?
burn,
Yeah.
flavor.
That's right. Constructing 60 possible points, right?
Right.
We then deduct points for less than optimal construction, burn, and flavor and see if the cigar is worth the possible bonus or deduction of 1%, right?
Right.
We got that right down?
Yep.
Sure. You know the spiel. Finally, we average out our individual scores, giving you guys our total rating out of 60. For those of you that are unfamiliar with our process at this point, I do feel bad for you because nearly every episode we explain it.
Yeah.
And nearly everywhere on our site we use it.
That's true.
So if you don't know it, I can't help you. You are likely illiterate and deaf.
Get your shit together. This is comprised of an Ecuadorian wrapper, Brazilian binder, and a crazy combination of Brazilian, Dominican, and Nicaraguan fillers.
That's something that CAO does. Come on.
There is an element of complexity I can already feel to this cigar.
Yeah, there is.
Just for the components themselves. We smoke this in a traditional Robusto 5x50, which, by the way, smoking the cigar kind of made me re-fall in love with the traditional 5x50 Vitola.
A little thinner one.
You know, it's weird, too, because that used to be like my favorite go-to, and then I started getting these smattering of other things, started smoking these different Vitolas, some bigger, some smaller.
Yeah.
And then I was just like going right back to a 5x50. I was like, I miss this.
You know what it is? It's the pace, brother.
Is it the nostalgia? Oh yeah, that's
It's
good
the
pace.
pace.
It is a good pace. It's just like that's the perfect time. It's just a good size, great ring gauge. These come in at a price point of $9.50. And I will say this: the original limited release are upwards of $20. They're north of $20. So this is half the price point of the limited edition 115th anniversary that came out that preceded this one.
Yeah.
So with that being said, at a $9.50 price point, let's get into it. Let's break this bad boy down. Chris, what do you think about the construction?
I thought that the construction is beautifully crafted. Oh, elegant, classy, nice kind of medium chocolatey color, almost a milk chocolate.
I was going to ask you about the color to see what your thoughts
and it's
were.
slightly reddish.
Yeah, it's got a hue to it, like a reddish hue, which I actually really like.
From an Ecuadorian?
Almost like a light colored Colorado.
Yeah.
Very strange.
But it's Ecuadorian.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't err on the side of that brownish tan color or tannish brown color, if you were. It does have a reddish hue to it. It's kind of nice.
Does.
It's like a kid with strawberry blonde hair.
Yeah. Or what's that weird disease that toddlers get where they get all red?
Rosacea?
Yeah, sure. We'll call it that.
I didn't know there's a disease where toddlers get more red.
Our cigar just has a rash.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's what I'll say. Like, so we are so used to having cigars that are predominantly, when we have them, very hard.
Yeah.
This one had a little gift to it. It's kind of a squishy cigar.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. You know, I was like, it's kind of nice to get a little change up. Like, don't overpack this bitch, you know?
Right.
Go with the blend. Work with the blend.
Right.
You know?
Sure.
Don't just shove a bunch of more shit in there. But then you have to wonder, $9.50, less tobacco. Oof.
Yeah.
You know, that's a question. That's a question for all of us.
And what did Billy Idol say? We want more and more and more.
We want more and more and more.
It's true.
But very pronounced cap structure. This cigar had a velvety touch to it and super smooth. Like, the veins were so minimal and it had a nice velvety, almost like, I don't know, it's like...
It's so weird you say that.
Did you say velvety?
I said smooth yet fuzzy.
Yes, it's so crazy.
And then I proceeded to type like a kitten with mange.
Yeah. It's very odd.
It is very strange.
It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like...
It's smooth and soft, but fuzzy.
Yeah, it is.
It's very strange.
It is very strange. But I got to say, hats off to the label. We always bicker about labels.
Yeah.
This is one of the fucking easiest goddamn labels to pull off. And it was so minimal use of glue. Like, dude, hats off to you.
Yeah, and the limited edition 15th anniversary, the one that came out before this one, is all black. And there's a label and a sub-label, but for the most part, the characteristics are the same, other than this one has interlaced red, which I could do without. I think if the label was just a simple black with that gold and some of the silver, I think it'd be the perfect label. I didn't really like the red, but you're right. Easy to remove, which I always enjoy.
Because it was a big label and I was a little worried.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree with you in that this one it didn't seem overly dense and it didn't seem super firm. It was very light in the hands, which I like.
Yeah.
Definitely a difference. And what I anticipated in that as we move into the burn of the cigar was, I was like, this is going to be a pretty airy draw, I have a feeling. So, Chris, with that being said, what did you think about the burn?
It's like you have some premonition as to what I would expect to have
I can anticipate stuff.
In my experience with my cigars.
Pretty good at anticipating things.
Yeah. I bet you could tell me. I bet you can tell me who died in my family recently. Maybe not. Maybe not that good. I don't know. Burns even. Good 1-2 puffer.
Yeah.
I was going with the whole thing like, it's like, is there someone in the someone in the audience that their name starts with J and they had a loved one die recently?
Yeah, their name starts with J, ends with Aki.
Yeah.
There's an Aki.
So no J's. Maybe J. J sounds like also like a K.
K.
So maybe he's got a K. Yeah. You should look that shit up. It's hilarious.
Yeah, those people are so funny.
Burns evenly. Good 1-2 puff for that airy draw that Cory's talking about. It's there, friends and fellows and lovers and family. Like, it's there. It's a real easy fucking draw. And the smoke production was super easy and effortless. I like that about it. I really do. I really do. What was strange about this cigar, and maybe it's because of the nature of such a underbunched fillers, I noticed immediately when I lit this cigar and I was chiefing on it, and maybe not really chiefing on it, but pretty consistently taking draws, this fucker was running hot.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Hot city, baby.
I don't know why,
Yeah.
but it was.
Yeah.
And I had to slow down a little bit. But that said, didn't really it didn't really have a cause for concern.
Nothing crazy, right? To rag
Yeah.
on it. I thought the draw on this cigar was exceptional.
Yeah.
It was very light. It was airy, but I think it offered up a good amount of resistance and tons of smoke production, which I
Yeah.
really enjoyed. Actually, kind of an anomaly given the fact that it didn't feel super filler dense. But with the good, unfortunately, mine came the bad, and I had
One
a
relight?
sudden outage that caused a relight, but also had a really bad run at the end. So when I was smoking this the other day, it was smoking very, very, very consistently up until probably the last third of the cigar, and then it just started running away from me. And I was really hoping, so in that particular time period, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to burn this and it's going to correct itself, and it never did. It actually just got worse. And as it got worse, it caused me a second relight attempt just to kind of even everything out. So not the best in terms of the consistency,
Yeah.
but the draw and the smoke production, I would say, balanced out the bad.
Yeah, dude. And I had the same issue. It was right after I did the fucking hold test.
Yeah, very similar points.
5 minutes in, we put it down. We put on Wayne's World 2, and watched it, and we learned about Aurora, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Put that cigar back in our mouth. If it's still lit, that's a great hold test. Well, I did that, right? And I did the whole test, and it was great. But I swear to you, not even 20 puffs later, it went out. Like abruptly.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a pit. It was just like flatted out.
Like the fillers.
Dead.
The fillers and the wrapper, like we give up.
Yeah, it was like just dead.
We give up.
Game
over.
I didn't have to deal with a second relight, but I did have one relight towards the last third of the cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Total bummer.
Yeah.
But everything that you want to be exceptional was pretty
It was great.
exceptional.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
pretty
those two little
For sure.
those two little issues. Now let's get into arguably the most important part of what we break down, and that's the flavor. What did you think about this? And then now I'll put it this way. There was some hype around the Cigar IPCPR 2019. Of course, you had the pre-release limited edition, 115th anniversary. So this one, I don't want to say was produced in the wake of something that already was very popular,
Yeah.
but I think what I could see is the La Aurora saw an opportunity in saying, hey, we're commemorating our 115th anniversary. We had this limited release version that we came out with. We could certainly curtail this into a regular production release. So how does it stack up? How's that flavor?
I don't know. It's a big crapshoot, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, like in Wayne's World when they're trying to put on the concert
Yeah.
and they don't know if the bands are going to show up. And we're like down to the final hour.
We'll see how this is going to end up.
Like, is it going to
Is it
happen?
going to be good or is it going to be bad?
That's where we're at with this.
Yeah. So what did you think about the flavor?
Really earthy, bitter, and medium spice from the get-go.
Yeah.
Very earthy cigar for me. The crazy thing about it was the retrohale. It's like I could smell Brazil. There was something like
when it was on fire?
remember when I was like, it's not like really floral. Like I was like
Yeah.
trying to describe the retrohale with you, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's not like floral like a Davidoff, but it's not like spicy like anything else. It was like a really mild retrohale of a cigar for surprisingly for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Like I could really do a pretty good retrohale on it without burning my nostrils. But I couldn't put my finger on the smell.
Yeah.
But it smelled earthy.
yeah.
And then you're like, well, it is.
No, you said something.
Or
You
what?
said something along the lines
Or it smells
of,
smoky.
you're like, it smells smoky. And I was like, well, you are smoking a cigar.
I was like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like
Yeah.
the retrohale is like putting off a scent that my brain is not
Yeah.
referring to anything else.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I really love the retrohale in the cigar.
Yeah. I do agree with you. Retrohaling the cigar, you get those pronounced flavors.
Yeah.
And it just, of course, always inherently just kind of
Yeah.
brings everything more forward. Again, I always use the analogy of like turning up the saturation on something. It's more bright and full. And this is, if you're going to retrohale a cigar, this is a good one to do it to.
For sure. And it kind of slowly changes up a little bit. Did you notice that? It's real mild, not really like pronounced, but you find yourself getting to the middle of the cigar and it does smooth out a bit.
Yeah.
And there is an undertone of what I would call almond milk.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if I got that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you taste like vanilla almond milk.
Like unsweetened vanilla almond milk.
Vanilla almond milk.
Yeah.
But dude, there is a creaminess that kind of comes out, and it just persists like that the rest of the cigar. I wouldn't say the change ups are drastic, but there is a slight change up towards the half cigar.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
That was a great flavor.
Yeah, it is definitely a good flavored cigar. I do agree with you. I also agree with you on the aromatics of the cigar. So it does have a nice aroma to it, but it's nothing that's super overly pungent. I wouldn't say that it's like, I wouldn't say, a lot of people like the sharpness aromas of something that's more citrusy or florally. It's not really that. It's just, it's nice and smooth. Again, agree with you on the retrohale. This is a cigar that you want to retrohale as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Because those flavors really do brighten up. I thought it was really nice and smooth and sweet. It's a good balance overall. I didn't get a lot of pepper at all, even though it does have a component of Nicaraguan filler. I didn't get what I would traditionally think I would get. I think this airs more on the side of like sweet and smooth than it does anything else. It does become kind of creamy. As you kind of head into, I'd say, the second half of the cigar, it does kind of settle a little bit. And there's no sharp edges to this cigar. It's really kind of rounded out, which I like. There's no super dynamic changes. It's just real kind of smooth. It's like the difference between a wooden roller coaster and a tube roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's just nice and flowy, which I really like about it because it's really kind of a subtle progression into these different flavor nuances that you get throughout the cigar. What I really liked about this cigar was the finish, ironically enough, usually the part about the cigar that I don't like as much, because there is a sense of woodiness that you get early on in the cigar, but I think is pretty I think it's pronounced a lot more towards the end of the cigar. That's when, to me, the retrohale gets really pleasant because I love retrohaling a cigar and getting that kind of campfire, just straight through a nice little campfire nostril punch.
That's why I love this, man. That is the word I've been trying to figure out on the retrohale, what it was. It was like a woodiness and a smokiness about it that was just like, yes.
But it's almost like when you wake up the next day after you're next to a campfire and you can kind of smell it in your hair and you can smell it in your clothes, but it's mild.
It's real mild, yeah.
That's literally what you get towards the end of this cigar, which to me is very pleasant. I thought in this cigar, sometimes you get a little bit of that woody harshness and something that I think is probably, something that's got a little bit harsher of flavor profile in terms of like the filler components. And this one, it's super subtle, but it's really, 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 personally, to me, I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. You nailed it.
Yeah. I'm good at that.
That was the word I was looking for.
I knew you were. But you just said, it's like smoky.
Yeah, it's like it's smoky.
I knew what you meant, but I wanted to argue a point.
The question is this is a 5x50, folks, right?
Yeah, it is.
Flavor is great. I thought it was great. You thought it was great?
Thought it was great.
Is it worth $9.50? Oof. Robusto, $9.50.
Is it worth
5x50? I'll just come out and say it. I thought the flavors, even with the relight, the draw, the presentation, the flavors, the nuances, it's worth $9.50.
Yeah.
It just is.
Dude, and for a company that's 115 years old.
Yeah.
I paid $9.50 for that.
I didn't even realize Aurora, Illinois was around for that long.
Being a 115-year-old cigar company, you have to imagine that the first cigars that they were rolling and that they probably were selling were probably less than 90 cents.
I would say
here we are 115 years later and selling them for $9.50.
I would say like 10 cents.
Probably very inexpensive.
Yeah, probably
not as good either, though, if we're being honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Things have changed a lot.
They have.
They've changed a lot.
Science.
I do agree with you in terms of $9.50 for a 5x50. Specifically with, I think, the great flavors of cigar, minus the burn challenges I had, I think it's price appropriate.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I
really
think it's
do.
definitely price appropriate.
I do too.
So that being said, we both say it's price appropriate. What does that tally up in your final score, Chris?
This is a 10 out of 10 construction, hands down. 19 out of 20 on burn. Had that one relight issue. 26 out of 30. I thought this was a very, very good cigar. It is up my alley. I do appreciate it, even though it's slightly milder than I was anticipating.
Yep.
I think it is priced appropriately, so there's no bonus or no minus,
Right.
deduction. Mine comes out at a 91.7%.
Nice. So that's a pretty awesome score for this $9.50 wonder that came out in 2019. Hit us with its presence and all the hype that came along with it. So I think it goes without saying in terms of construction. I think we both gave it a nice nod of the cap. 10 out of 10 construction for me. Of course, I had that nasty little run and I had the other relight attempt at an abrupt outage. That's minus 2 points, giving me 18 out of 20 on the burn. Where I thought this cigar shined, and I really enjoyed the flavors. And as a matter of fact, in a 5x50 I thought was appropriate. I would have loved to have something a little bit longer, even a 5.5x50 or 5.5x52. Because it was so consistent with the flavors and because it was so good all the way to the end, no harshness to speak of, I would have liked a little bit more of it. But I did give it a 26.5. Couldn't go with the 27. Couldn't go with the 26. Thought it was better than one. Thought it was worse than the other. Gave it a 26.5, which gave me a total score of a 90.8. We'll round that up to a 91. So those two scores averaged out are about going to give about a
91.
About a 91.3. We'll round it to about a 91.
Yeah.
I think, or a 91.5.
Yeah.
Which I think is very appropriate for the cigar. And honestly, minus those two burn issues I had it just held and sustained itself through,
Easy 93.
Oh my gosh, would have been such a fantastic score on a cigar because the flavor is just outrageously good. And it's super mild. I would really say that this is a good cigar, especially at the price point. And you get someone that's been in business for 115 years. There's an element of quality there. Obviously, there's longevity. I would say for anybody who doesn't smoke cigar often, you'll probably really like this cigar. And for those who do smoke cigars often, you'll like the complexity to the blend, even though it doesn't have those super robust flavors like you're going to get in something that would be like a Nicaraguan Puro or have just those kind of off the wall, like even Connecticut broadleaf or Pennsylvania broadleaf. This is mild in nature, but very complex at the same time.
Yeah, I think about anybody could pick this up and smoke it. I really found it to be medium bodied. You know?
Yeah.
There was not a strong component of nicotine. There was not a strong component of spice. It was even though the price point's not that for the beginning smoker, it is from a flavor profile and duration because you're dealing with a 5x50. It's a short smoke, relatively speaking,
right,
compared to other blends and vitolas. But it's a good hour, 15 hour and a half if you really want to baby it.
Yeah.
And it would be great for a beginning smoker to pick it up.
Yeah, I agree. And you get something really good.
Yeah.
Like this isn't no, I'm coming in with the flavor infusion and trying to figure things out. This is great quality cigar with a great flavor from anybody that I think has made their way past the flavor infusion step of what we call the progression of cigar smokers. This is a really good cigar to get your hands on and one that you will probably likely enjoy on the outside of smoking some of those flavor-infused cigars. Yep. This is a real good premium cigar that isn't going to blow your face off.
I agree.
And we love that.
We do.
That was a good one. I really like that cigar a lot, and I actually want to get my hands on more of them because I only have that one, but I do have the original release, the limited edition one, which I bought in Puerto Rico and brought it back with me. So it is currently sitting in my top shelf of my humidor.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, I've got some good shit, man. I've got some good stuff going on. I got a lot of cigars right now. Samples out the wahoo, just coming in droves, after another.
We're just bathing in them.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. A lot of people have been sending samples recently. I think they're getting bored.
Samples?
Yeah, just fucking handing them out like Skittles, which is all good. But let's conclude the episode.
That sounds appropriate.
Short but sweet. And
sounds
I like it.
Appropriate.
It does sound appropriate. What kind of time do we have left? I just want to make sure we're good.
2 seconds.
Nice. Okay. Well, good timing. Hell yeah. We thank everybody for listening. As always,
do.
short and sweet. Please make sure that you check out the recent interview with Matt Booth from Room 101. Fantastic episode. I just released a video review of the highly coveted EP Carrillo Encore Majestic, which received the highest mark from Cigar Aficionado in 2018. I put it to the test and see whether or not it actually stood up to Cigar Aficionado's rating.
I can only imagine what Cory would give the Encore Majestic.
And by the way, I am obviously, everyone knows this if you listen to this podcast, huge EP Carrillo fan. One of my absolute favorite manufacturers. So you can check that out on YouTube. It is video only. There's no written review on the site. And please check out our podcast sponsor, My Cigar Pack. You can check them out at mycigarpack.com. I do know this for sure. Their May and June pack are going to be fucking off the chain. I know this because I already fucking saw what's going to be in it before any of you saw it. So it's going to be dopey dope. You can get that. You can check out mycigarpack.com. And if you're interested in subscribing, you can enter in HOT10 promo code for $10 off your first order. So make sure you do that as well. Save yourself them dollar bills since we're in Corona time, right? Economy's bad, but you still want to smoky smoke. Get the best of both worlds.
Small businesses.
100%. All right, let's conclude this. Cheers, Chris. Cheers to a Friday.
Cheers.
And cheers to all of you. We'll be back at you next week with milestone episode 150, which we'll have an interview next week. So until then, see everyone. We'll be back at you next week with episode 150. Adios.
You got really swirled around.